The late-night hum of the diner was broken only by the sound of sizzling grease and the clinking of coffee cups. Outside, neon lights flickered against the rain-slick streets, casting a red glow through the windows. Inside, Sarah Collins, a kind-hearted waitress working the late shift, smiled tiredly as she cleared tables, unaware that the next few minutes would change her life forever. She'd been working double shifts for weeks to pay for her mother's hospital bills. Always polite, always patient, Sarah was the kind of person who believed kindness could change people. But that night, kindness was met with cruelty. At exactly 11:47 p.m., the front door slammed open. The bell above it rattled violently as Eddie, Red, Thompson, a towering man with fiery hair and a reputation to match, stumbled in with two drunk friends. His leather vest bore the marks of a gang Sarah didn't recognize. They smelled of alcohol and trouble. "Coffee," Eddie growled, slamming his fist on the counter. "And make it quick, sweetheart." Sarah nodded nervously, her hands trembling as she poured the coffee. She'd dealt with loud customers before, but there was something different about Eddie. His eyes were bloodshot with rage, as if he carried the world's anger inside him. When she accidentally spilled a few drops on the counter, Eddie snapped. "What the hell's this?" he shouted, slamming his cup down. The diner went silent. Even the hum of the neon lights seemed to pause. Sarah took a careful step back. I'm so sorry, sir. I'll clean it up," she said softly, grabbing a towel. But before she could, Eddie grabbed her wrist, yanking her forward. The towel dropped. Plates shattered. He pushed her against the counter, his voice dripping venom. "You think I'm a joke?" he snarled, gripping her throat with his massive hand. Sarah gasped for air, tears welling in her eyes as she struggled to breathe. Her tray clattered to the floor. At a booth in the corner, two men silently rose to their feet. They were bikers, Jack Dalton and Cole Matthews, veterans of the road and brothers by choice, not blood. Both wore leather jackets marked with a different emblem, the Guardians MC, a small biker group known not for trouble, but for protecting their community. Jack, the older one, had a scar across his cheek and gray streaks in his beard. He'd seen enough violence in his life to know when someone needed saving. His blue eyes narrowed as he saw Eddie's hand tighten around Sarah's neck. "Stay calm," Cole whispered, but Jack was already moving. With quiet steps, Jack walked toward the counter. His boots echoed against the tiled floor, and for the first time, Eddie noticed him. "Hey, pal," Jack said in a low, calm voice, "you might want to let the lady go." Eddie sneered. "This ain't your business, old man." Jack's expression didn't change. "It is now." Cole stood behind him, blocking the exit. The other two thugs shifted uneasily, suddenly aware that they weren't the scariest men in the room anymore. Sarah's vision blurred. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Jack's tone hardened. "Last warning." Eddie laughed. "You gonna make me?" Jack moved faster than anyone expected. In one motion, he grabbed Eddie's wrist, twisting it sharply until the thug howled in pain. Sarah stumbled backward, coughing as air finally returned to her lungs. Cole stepped in, shoving Eddie's two friends back before they could react. Within seconds, the entire diner was chaos, tables overturned, coffee splashing, the sound of fists hitting flesh. But Jack and Cole were professionals. They didn't fight to destroy, they fought to protect. Eddie swung wildly, his fury blinding him. Jack ducked under a punch and landed one clean hit to Eddie's ribs, sending him crashing into a booth. Cole handled the others with swift, precise strikes, knocking one down with a chair and pinning the other against the counter. When it was over, Eddie groaned on the floor, clutching his side. Jack loomed over him, his voice steady and cold. "You ever lay a hand on a woman again, you'll answer to us." Eddie spat blood but said nothing. He and his men stumbled out of the diner, dragging their bruised pride behind them. Sarah sank to her knees, trembling. Jack knelt beside her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "You okay, miss?" She nodded weakly, tears mixing with the smudges of fear on her face. "Thank you. I thought he was going to kill me." Jack smiled faintly. "Not on our watch." The police arrived minutes later, alerted by a customer who had slipped out during the fight. Jack and Cole gave their statements, but when the officers asked for their full names, Jack simply said, "Just tell them the Guardians were here." Then, They left as quietly as they'd come, their motorcycles roaring into the night. The next morning, Sarah returned to the diner, still shaken but alive. She found something folded on the counter, a note under a coffee cup. Greater than, keep being kind. The world needs more people like you. Jack. Alongside it was a small silver pin with an emblem of wings, the symbol of the Guardian's MC. Sarah held it close to her heart, her eyes glistening. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel alone. Weeks later, she began volunteering at a local women's shelter, using her experience to help others escape violence. She never saw Jack or Cole again, but she often heard the sound of motorcycles passing by late at night, and every time, she whispered a quiet thank you.